So I'm already here in Scratch.
Okay, that's good. Okay. Hello.
Hello.
How are you? I think we have everybody join in the call.
Right. Everybody's here? Yeah. Okay. I already looked at your project, and maybe you saw that I put some hearts and likes in there. But let me just share the screen right away. Can you see the screen?
Yeah. Yes.
So let's move on to the students' projects. And I'll start with the first one that showed up here after we, from where we left it. So this first project of Swesha, I noticed she has got a few projects there. So press the girl to see her spin. Spin following the cursor. All right. Then press space key, and you have to keep on pressing the space key to make the balloon move. And then press up key to make the bird fly. And again, you have to keep on flying because you didn't put it on repeat. So I have to keep pressing the key to make it, like flap wings. Now, again, as we learned last time, I'm going to look inside the code. And if we look at Kia, the sprite girl, we see that we can change, instead of point towards mouse pointer, we can change it to point towards a balloon. And now let's see what happens. So if I start pressing the space bar to move the balloon, what am I doing here? I'm changing the position. So let me get out of the code here. The projects page. So now we go again, press.
You need to press you need to press the green flag again. Or not.
Right. I can take a look again. It's possible that it didn't save.
Oh, it's when the sprite clicked.
When this sprite is clicked, okay. So only I'm supposed to click on both of them. Let's see if it works this way. If I click on both. Okay, it's possible that it doesn't save it. I'll look at it again in a minute to see if it's saved. Okay, let's start again. Try to change it on your own and look at it again next time. So this sprite, the balloon, put it on repeat, so I don't have to press the key space to make it move. If you make it a repeat movement, a repeat motion, and it will spin. So in that case, I would only have to click on the girl to make her point towards the balloon. So let's see what happens now if I turn it back to mouse point, forever, point towards mouse pointer. Yes, so she would do that. So my guess is that if you try to make this movement of the balloon repeat, so we make it spin forever when space key is pressed, then we'll make the girl point towards the balloon as it spins. Okay, so that's a suggestion to modify your project a bit. Anyway, you completed the functions. Now, Swesha has another project, and this is really impressive, I must say. And I will point out a few things about the project, besides the fact that she created a scenery. So again, we have the planet is circling the sun, and then we have a satellite that goes around the Earth. It actually follows the Earth. It doesn't go around the Earth, it just follows the Earth, which is okay. But what's interesting here is that she actually drew on the sky on space the itinerary of the planet and then the itinerary of the satellite. So I looked inside the code to see how she did it. So she created this circle by moving 20 steps at a time and turning 10 degrees. So she succeeded to create a pretty good circle with 10 degrees. George suggested that you could even take it degree by degree. So turning 1 degree and you can get something interesting. And then if we look here again, what we can see is that the satellite moving it glides. So it just points towards the planet and it glides. So she moved, she used motion function glide instead of moving several steps. So the satellite points towards the planet and glides towards the planet. So then you can see a very nice, interesting geometric shape inside the circle, but it is not a calculated shape. So it's not a geometric shape that she created by calculating the angles and the slides. It just appears as a trace, as an itinerary of the satellite gliding towards a planet that creates a circle. So I thought that was really well done, very interesting. And then you can see when it goes again and again, it's not identical, it's not on the previous trace, it's not on the identical trace, so it's not a calculated geometric shape. It's quite an interesting project. You probably want to modify the instructions here. The satellite doesn't go around the Earth, the satellite follows the Earth, right? So it just glides to follow the Earth. Very well done, very nice.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I also added a thing. If you press the space key, it will say something.
I did see that in your project. So when I looked inside the code, I looked at the robot and it says something. You need to put it in the instructions. So I'm not criticizing you here. These are just suggestions. If you don't tell me what to do as a visitor of your page, I can see, but I can see the robot, but it doesn't tell me what to do to make it say something. So just add under the instructions, press, nice. So
We have successfully tracked the Earth.
Great. Press the space key to make the robot say something. So to hear the robot. All right. So this is very nice. We'll have an entire studio about sounds and you know, how to say things, how to write things while in the same saying things, and you know, that will be a very interesting experience. The next one, the dolphin and the fish. Press the green flag to hide the fish and show the dolphin. Then press the dolphin. It's a bit loud, right? So dolphin goes in circle, very nice scenery. And then press the space key to see the dolphin going circle backwards. I was telling you in the studio about spinning, going around, you know, turning and taking directions. You can choose a direction in which you want the sprite to turn. So normally you would have it clockwise, but if you want to pick the other block and make it anti-clockwise, then it will turn and spin the other way around. Then it passes on to the fish as well. So we have a new scenery. Press up key to make the fish go in circle, and press down key to to go in circle backwards. So this is for the studio turn, spin, and follow directions. Very nicely done. Right, the next one, this is pretty good for the sprites following each other. And then we also have a change in scenery. Great, so now we have a sprite that goes back and forth bouncing at the edges, and an arrow that follows the sprite. So we don't need, in this case, you see that we don't need to tell the arrow to bounce at the edges. if on edge bounce. The arrow will turn once the first sprite turns. So once the cat turns and bounces at the edges, the arrow will do the same. So it is not necessary to tell the arrow to bounce at the edges. Very nice.
On time. Just now, Michaela joined.
Okay, great. I will look if she added a project, right? Okay, so we have a project from Kartik. I didn't see this one. So let's see what Kemin published. I saw it already. It's very interesting because she made 3 sprites following each other, And that's quite interesting. See how they bump into each other at some point and how they turn. So the motion is practically triggered just by the red apple pointing at 45 degrees and bouncing at the edges. And then the arrows follow the red apple and the orange will follow the arrow, I suppose. So let's look inside. This is pretty fun, actually. It's really good. Let's see, the arrow follows the apple and then the yellow ball follows the arrow. Now I see in your code you added if on edge bounce. I advise you experiment to see if it works without if on edge bounce for the arrow and the ball. Because normally it could work without that as well, because once the red apple bounces at the edge, the arrow would follow, just as we talked about in the other project. I mean, it's not a mistake to have it as an additional condition if on edge bounce, but my guess is that it would work without it as well.
Miss Adina,
Yes.
I can't share my project.
Well, I see one project that you just shared. Did you share more than one?
I have a homework.
So you have a project called The Hero's Quest.
Yeah, that's a random game I made.
And you have another one?
Yeah, it's actually the homework. And I can't share it.
So let me see if I can pick it. I don't know if there is.
No, I can't even like share it as like the button that says share.
Oh, you can share it. It's possibly something wrong with your internet temporary. So just give it a few minutes and you'll share it. So it's either Scratch glitching a little bit, their server, or your internet. Just wait a couple of minutes and try again.
Or both.
I assume there are many people on Scratch these days, and it does happen. Sometimes it doesn't refresh, or you take 5 minutes to see your project shared. So look at the one that you already shared here, okay?
Refresh. I've done pretty good.
I did not see this one yet because you just shared it. So arrow keys, once there was a kingdom, the kingdom was huge. It's a game. You said you were going to make a game. Arrow keys to move up to jump.
Oh, and you can press the space key to switch costumes.
Okay, so nice. Touch the pink, avoid the red. Touch the pink. Red, counter, top left. Okay, and you draw.
You have to hold it, like just hold it. You don't have to like keep on pressing it. Just hold this.
You know, my son is a gamer. I'm the designer. He's a gamer. Okay, I like it. So let's play it a little bit at the end because I have to go on to the next project. I'm going to just jump all of. Nah. Okay, very nice. Now I'm interested to see in what way you used following the cursor, following another sprite. So let's take a look inside. Right, so I'm not going to talk about all the other details of your game. What I'm mainly interested is to see how you chased something. Do you have a chasing here or just jumping over and moving?
It's just jumping and moving.
Okay, so this is a nice game, which I'm going to include in the game studio, you know, where we have the jumping games, but it doesn't immediately address our lesson last time, right? So let's talk about it a little bit more when we go to the games, when we get to the game studio, and I'm going to include it myself in the game studio, so I'll include it as a lesson. Is that okay with you? Everybody, feel free to play the game after the lesson, or if we have another 5 minutes at the end, we can play the game. It's very interesting. Now let's see if we have any more projects shared for this studio or homework. Michaela, would you like to share something here? Is there anything that I don't see? Oh, yes, you did. Dancing Coder. Okay, you did. We already talked about yours, about your project. So anybody has any questions at this point? No. So let's see then how we can move on to the next class. So we are still in the studio, create your own sprite. So today we'll stay in this studio because we have a few more things that we want to learn, and we added a few things in studio, George and myself. Coach K, is it okay if we go on to the lesson? Okay. So first of all, we made an addition to the cube boy. I'm going to open it. I just added the mouse, so you can see the mouse movement in the same, moving in the same time with the arms. And it's just a modification to the costumes that we saw last time. And you can make eyes rolling or anything that appears interesting in the face features. If you have drawing skills, you can make like cartoon type face on the characters that can change expressions while you move the character. That's very interesting. And I'm going to show you, okay, I want to go to studio. Go back to radio. I'll show you something I created, which will teach about importing the sprites and how, what we are going to do with them. Instead of creating my own sprite by drawing, I created my own sprite by importing it from a file. So this is my logo. You probably noticed it on my shirt sometimes, or I have it right there on the wall. You can see in my bag. So let's see what we can do with it. This is an interesting picture that I imported because it's somewhat symmetrical, or the original picture was symmetrical. If I click on it, it's going to spin and make a very nice pattern, like illusion. And then if I click the space key, it's going to spin it in slow motion. So you see what I want you to do. So there are practically 4 different positions you can spot in this case, right? And then click the up arrow and down arrow to make it spin faster, slowly by rotation. So it will look like it's doing just the same. It's just that I did it in a different way. So you see in the instructions, in the first case, I made the rotation by just changing costumes that I created for this sprite. While in the second case, I did the same thing by just rotating 90 degrees. So instead of adding more costumes, I just used one single sprite with one costume rotating 90 degrees. So now if we look inside, you can see the parallel. First of all, I have when the green flag is clicked, we show that sprite because you can see I have 2 sprites actually here. So I show the first sprite. And then when this sprite is clicked forever, we change to next costume, and I'll show you then how I created the costumes. Or turn 90 degrees, keeping one single costume and turning 90 degrees. Do you see the difference? So instead of just changing costume, I turn 90 degrees. Now the question is, how did I create these costumes? First of all, I import in the logo by using the same department, how can I say, the same section of Sprite that allows us to bring new sprites. Now, can everybody see on my screen where I'm going? Choose a sprite. Normally, when you click or directly on choose a sprite on the little cat to the plus here, it would take us to the library, and it would allow us to choose one from the library. I don't want to do that now, so I want to go back. Now, if I go back to the same column, I hover, but I don't click on the sprite, it gives me option. Last class, so George showed us how we can paint. So we chose a paintbrush to be able to paint our sprite. Instead of that, I go up to the upload sprite. Do you see the arrow here that allows us to upload? And that will take me in a browser in my computer. Okay, so this is in my kids pool. And I'm going to add another one just very, very fast. It goes to artwork. Artwork. And I'll just pick another one from here. I navigate in the computer. I find the picture I want to import. You probably know how to insert pictures in documents. It's the same as inserting pictures in a Word document, for example. And here I'm going to open. And here it is. I have a new sprite. Can you see it? This is my new sprite. Now on the left top corner, I have the costumes. And then, as you can see, this doesn't have any costume because I just imported as a sprite, as a picture. So it's not coming from the sprites library that already have costumes created. I just brought it from our computer. It is a normal picture. What I can do to make costumes here, George already showed to us, we can duplicate it. So I click right, depending if you work on a PC or a Mac, it's like a click right. I duplicate, and then I want to change it in a certain way. What I did to my logo, because it had that feature of being somewhat symmetrical, I flipped it. So right here, you see many ways in which you can modify your sprite to make a different costume. Like if I do this, I'm going to flip it horizontally, then I'm going to duplicate again, and I'm going to flip it vertically. And then I'm going to duplicate again, and I'm going to flip it horizontally again. So in this case, you can see I have 4 costumes that show the 4 positions, and that is precisely what I created to my first sprite. Is it clear? You can do something else, you know, you can rotate it, you can just rotate it, and you can start adding features to it, or you can crop it. George will show you later how you can import a picture and then work on it as in terms of artwork and design. So I'm going to go back to code. I'll delete it temporarily so it doesn't destroy my previous code. And again, I'm going to show you my first sprite here, which is my logo. Costumes, you see the same type of costumes. I just created them by flipping them horizontally and vertically, just because I wanted to show those 4 positions. And now we understand the code better. Why, when I changed to the next costume, it practically changed that position. It just shifted from one position to the other, from 1 to 4. But then again, I can do the same by turning 90 degrees. So with up arrow, or down arrow to make it slower, it does the same thing by rotating 90 degrees without needing costumes. So this is on you now to experiment in how many ways you would like to use it. I'll show the project page now. I always click on the green flag to bring my sprite to the original position. Now I have to refresh because it's glitching, so there is something wrong with the server today. No, it comes to the normal position. I have something additional here. Click Y key to show the yin-yang symbol, which is the original symbol that allows me to create my logo. And we do the same thing to this symbol. I press the U key to make it spin. And make it spin faster. This is a very interesting effect. You can see. So you can find your own pictures that you choose to upload your own picture instead of the sprites if they offer particular features like this one does, or if you just want to use your own, you know, library of symbols or what kind of photograph or pics that you collected. So I would like you to try to make a project, and you are not going to make it entirely now. You're not going to do an entire project now. I just want to see that you get it started and you remember how to import, upload actually, let's call it upload, a picture from your computer and then create a few costumes. And then it will be a homework to do something with that sprite, 1 or 2 sprites or three sprites, with or without costumes. You will create your own project and make the sprites do whatever you want. From anything we learned so far, you can make your sprites and your own costumes do something new, something interesting. All I want to see now is that you can upload the picture and we can create 1 or 2 costumes without any other code for now. So can we start? Okay.
So you prefer them choosing .png file or JPG is also fine?
I actually, George, do you know if they have any restriction at this point? I normally work with JPG. Do not go into animated GIFs for now. So don't get a animated one because George will show you what you do with an animated one. So try a simple picture, static picture. And I believe that either way, PNG or GIF would work. I normally work with the GIF, but you know, you can try. Honestly, I'm not aware right now if we have a restriction here.
Okay. They do a Google.
Have a very large picture because that will make your project very slow, you know, so if it's like several megabytes, it will make it slow.
Mm-hmm. So they can go to Google search now, find an image, download it, and then upload it, right?
If they don't have a picture already in their computer, Scratch allows you to browse through your own computer. So if you know you already have a picture, like I said last time, it would be good to have a picture prepared and know where to find it. Upload it from your own computer. If you don't have a picture, then just download one from the internet now.
You think you all can do it right now? Get a picture?
We don't need to code anything right now. I just want to see that you can upload a picture and then we create a couple of costumes.
Awesome. Yes, go ahead and do it, please.
I have mine.
I've uploaded my picture. Do we have to like draw?
You need to share the project to me to see what you uploaded.
Oh, right, share it.
And also after you upload, you can go in costumes. You can upload 1 or 2 pictures and choose the one you want to make costume for. And we go in costume and try to do something. First of all, duplicate. So again, we right click and it allows us to duplicate. And in the duplicate, you can rename it. You can see here, there is a name. I'm going to highlight it. Next to where it says costume 1, you can rename the picture with a, you know, a particular name for every costume.
It's not letting me share it.
Did you save it? Try to save it first. Yeah. Try to save it first and give it a minute and hopefully it's going to share.
I can't share either.
Yes, okay, so that will be, obviously it's not a Zoom problem, it's a Scratch problem and there is nothing we can do about it. They will probably fix it. So if anybody would like to just share the screen, we can do that. So what I can do is to stop sharing mine and just share the screen and show us what you created, even if it's not. Okay, so that is.
I created this. I uploaded it.
You uploaded it, okay. Now let's look in costumes.
There's lots of costumes too.
So you also created costumes. That's nice. It looks like an emoji. You created an emoji with many variations. Very nice. Let's see the homework for next time. Just make it look something, you know.
Okay.
Anybody else would like to share the screen?
Sure. I'll do one.
Okay, so that's.
The dragon
The dragon, okay, you uploaded.
is my uploaded one.
Can you show us costumes? Did you make any costume?
Actually, no, but I do know.
Okay, so what you can do, can you show us the dragon? Just click on the dragon so we can see the costumes for the dragon. Okay. And now, first of all, you need to duplicate. So right there in the corner, click on your icon, on the small one in the top corner, right click.
Right.
And duplicate. Right. So
I got a picture.
okay. So let's finish the dragon first, and then we move on to your picture. And now to the duplicate, you can flip it or do something to it, rotate or flip, so that will create a new costume.
Okay.
Just flip it horizontally normally because you don't want it upside down, right? So click on it and flip horizontally. Right. So that's a new costume, and you can also rename it. If you look, it's called Glory Template 2. You can rename both costumes. So the one will be 1, one will be 2, and you can give them names. Make sure you save. Make sure your project is saved. That's good.
So are we creating a sprite?
Sorry? No,
Are
no,
we
no.
creating?
We are just uploading a picture, and then we create costumes to that picture. We create something. The picture does something very simple, like rotating or flipping, without working on the design itself. Okay, Michaela, so you have a homework till next time to code it in a certain way to see how it works with the costumes. Right,
Okay.
so are you, okay, now let's, who's next? Nina, you wanted to show us your picture, right? So who's next to show us, to share the screen? You can just share the screen.
Nina, do you want to go ahead and show?
Yeah, I can show you the picture.
Can you share the screen? Probably you can't. Can they share the screen, Coach K?
Some of them they are using, since they don't, some of them, you know, they don't have camera on the laptop.
Oh, I see. That's fine. That's okay.
2 devices.
Okay, that's fine. So you can show us again. Nina,
so-
you're showing us.
Yeah. Okay, I'll show you.
Can everybody see it now? Okay, so you uploaded Planet Earth. Nice. Now, can you upload? Can you upload it in? Right, that's nice. Can you upload it in Scratch?
I don't know how to do that.
You need to first save it on your computer, because Scratch allows you to upload it from your computer. Can you? If you have any other picture already in your computer, anything, even a picture of you or anything.
Scratch won't let me share my.
Yes, it seems they have a problem. I mean, you're the third person who says the same thing. You can't share. This is why we are just sharing the screen. Instead of sharing the project in Scratch right now, we are sharing the screen. See, so we would see directly on your screen. I believe they'll fix it. If they have a problem, they will fix it today. Okay, we can see your screen. So you uploaded this picture. Now, if you go to costumes on the top left corner, let's try to make a costume. So first of all, click right on the icon, on the small icon on the left top. Click right. Duplicate. Choose duplicate. Now you have a second sprite and try to flip it. Okay, so now you have a a costume, you know, looking the other way, turned the other way. And you can also rename them. So if you look at the costume, next to it is, you know, you see the name of each of the costumes, and you can modify that and just name them yourself. Instead of having them more and the pixels, you can just give them names. Lemon costume 1 or lemon costume 2. You see what I mean? So double click on the name. It's right on top of where you see copy. Do you see copy on your working table there? Do you see copy? It's on your working area. There, right on top of it, you see the name of it, right there. That's where you change the name of the costume. And make their name somewhat similar. So there will be Lemur 1, Lemur 2, something like that, or however you want to call them, but that will clearly show that, that one is costume 1 and one is costume 2. Great. And make sure it's saved. We will look at all your projects next time. Hopefully they will fix what problem they have in Scratch till next time, and you'll be able to share. And the homework is to code it, to make, you know, to make this sprite with costume do something. Now, anybody else is ready to show us? Nina, are you ready to show us a picture now? If not, you can show it next time.
I don't know how to like get it on.
Sometimes you can't really download those pictures from the internet. Sometimes they will give you a link, but they will not allow you to download the picture. So why don't you try with one of your parents till next time to get a picture on your computer, and then you will know how to upload it in Scratch, how to find it, upload. But you need to have it in a browser in your own computer. Anybody else would like to show us a sprite? There, great. That's great. That's how you choose it.
How about Swisha? Swisha, did you upload it? You did? Do you want to share your screen? No? You want to work on it and show us next week? Okay.
Okay, so who is sharing the screen now?
It's still Kemen.
Okay.
Kemen, you can start.
Let me know if we're ready to move on to the next next lesson.
Okay, it's at the bottom. No, on the top, all the way on top. You can just click on stop sharing this.
I don't see it because for some reason I can't full screen it and I can't see what.
Okay, I'm going to stop it. Yes.
Oh.
Now, Ms. Alina can share it.
All right, so I'm going to close this project now. I can see that everybody can understand, and everybody understood how to do this. It is one way to do things. There are many ways to work with your own sprites. I'll show you another tool, but very briefly, so we don't, this is about working with your own pictures. So ideally, you would work with your pictures, not with somebody else's pictures, so you don't get in trouble. This is something very simple, but I just want to show you different ways of doing the same thing. So click the green flag to turn to the first picture. So we start with the first picture. Then click the left arrow, left, up, down, right, and again, in whichever order you want to see all the pictures. So I'm moving from one picture to another. So what I did in this case, I just uploaded several of my pictures that somehow show a little bit of an animation, moving from one to another, as sprites. So all I did was, again, to upload, you use this upload sprite, several photos that have just a slight difference between them. And then you know what to do next. You know, you just bind them to different events. And again, to be able to move from one picture to another, the trick here is that you have to make one show and the other ones hide. So when I click on the green flag, the first picture shows and all the others hide. And then again, I show it when I get to the last arrow. And then I move to the next sprite. When the green flag is clicked, it hides. And then it shows when I click, I chose the arrow. So you can choose 1, 2, 3, 4, or A, B, C, D, or any kind of 4 keys or 5 keys. And when one picture shows, all the others hide. In this case, you can see I don't have any costumes. I just have sprites, and each sprite has only one appearance, only one costume. I'm going back to the project page and I'll move on to the other lesson, which does a similar thing but in a different way. Click the green flag to return to the first picture. Again, click the picture repeatedly to see all the pictures. So in this case, I don't need the arrow. I just click on the pictures to see it changing. Or click the space key to see the slideshow forever. So I click the space key one time and then it changes the pictures forever. Now, how is this possible? In this case, I uploaded only one sprite. You see, you don't see all the sprites here. But if you see in costumes, I uploaded all the other pictures as costumes. So in this case, I did not create the costumes. We go all the way down here and you can see that you can also upload costumes. Can you see the difference? All of the pictures that in the previous lesson you saw as sprites, in this case, you see them appearing as costumes, and there is just a slight difference. So if we go to code, we only have to apply the code to one sprite in this case, and we can use the loops because we can program it to change to next costume when we click on the sprite, and also to go to the next costume forever with the waiting time to make a slideshow. So this is very easy to do. All I wanted was to show to you that you can use your own pictures or other pictures to upload them as sprites or to upload them as costume to one single sprite. So either a series of sprites or costumes to one single sprite. You can see in the name of the lesson. If you want, only if you want to use some pictures, you can also have an additional little homework next time just to show the difference between creating your own costume, uploading your own costume, or different ways of doing things. So now George, if George is here, George, can you hear me? I'm going to message him.
Yes.
Can you hear me, George?
I have requested him to.
Oh, I didn't notice I was muted. Sorry.
Okay, you're muted, sorry. It's your turn to show us important gifts, or show to them how we can create the costume one by one, or how we can import the costumes one by one. So now what George is going to show is a bit more interesting. Your turn. I'm going to stop sharing the screen and you share yours.
Hello. Hello, fellow humans. So, here. So I want to show you how to import GIFs. So wait, let me give you, so this is like a little animation that I took from online. So basically, you know what? Yeah, I'm gonna give you an example, just a second. So just make a new project and just like, I'll just search GIF and take something off here, so.
So he's looking for a GIF that's already animated.
Yeah, and then go into images,
Better not a human if you can.
There you go. There you
I
go.
tend to avoid using real people, just in case. you get in trouble.
Anyway, so you just save it with like if with name. Just save it wherever. And then oh god.
So he just downloaded or he did.
Yeah,
what-
the Zoom stuff is getting in my way. I'm trying to switch to Scratch. Just a second. There you go. So with that, you can basically, oh my god, like this, sorry, like there's stuff on the screen when you try and screen share and it's annoying me. Anyway, so just go into downloads, Gif name. And yeah, you basically need to download it or import like the GIF, and then it will import every single frame as a different costume, and then you can do this.
So just stop for a second. Take it bit by bit. Okay, we teach a bit at a time. So what he did was to search on the internet for an animated GIF. That means it was not a static picture, but it had several frames. You know how it works. A picture that has several frames. And he downloaded it on his computer. And when he uploaded, he imported it in Scratch, as I showed you before. It automatically imports all those frames as separate costumes. So it appears as one sprite, but then when you look in costumes, you will see that already there are several costumes there because every single frame of the GIF appears as a costume.
Yeah.
And now he's just going to code those costumes and bind them together.
So you can write like a forever loop and looks next costume, and then you can do this. And well, if you want to make it like so it actually has pacing, then yeah. And there you go. I created an animation. And you can do a lot of stuff with this. I personally was, I think there's like online GIFs, or like, sorry, transparent GIFs. And I was able to like,
Show us the previous one.
Yeah.
Show us the previous project and how you animated that one.
yeah, so, well, this is, I just put it in now. So with the importing GIFs thing, I basically, so you can see how so I use a 0.1 X costume, and within it, it's basically just like all of these frames, and it actually counts it up, so it should be like 19, well actually, yeah, 19. So there's 19 frames of it, and it loops. Also, since this is a square, I used a black background since this one has a black background, so it looks like it's like completely blended in the background. So yeah.
This is the transparent one. Right, so it shows just what we did before, but in this case, instead of creating the costumes or uploading picture one by one for every costume, he just uploaded a GIF that already have frames, and those frames were imported in Scratch as costumes directly. But you need to find the animated GIFs that you are allowed to use, that are free on internet and you're allowed to use.
Yeah.
Or you'll do your hard work to create your own costumes,
I don't think like copyright. I don't think most copyright applies for Scratch since it's like it falls under education, but
there are many places on internet where they provide.
Yeah, technically, if you like don't make money off of it, and you don't make money off of Scratch, and you also and it's also for educational purposes, they're not gonna copyright strike you. but I do recommend just in case because there are a lot of greedy businessmen out there.
So now, George, that's why I also recommend to work with your own pictures, you know, family pictures, not other people's pictures, because you never know.
Yeah, but it's
how-
unlikely that they'll actually sue you, but they might.
Okay, now, George, give me a couple of minutes and then I'll call you back to show the other project.
I'll stop sharing my screen then.
Okay, I want to add something here about the first project I showed you today.
My neck.
So in this case, the only animation we did here was to move the sprite back and forth, you know, and rotate it or change costumes. However, an interesting thing here is to animate the logo itself. An idea here, for example, is to make that droplet of water appear or disappear, right? So we can, let's see, the bigger picture. You can make this droplet appear, disappear. Or even more interesting, you know, I can start by creating several frames and start with a droplet at the top of the leaf and make an animation to make it appear. This slides down the leaf till the right position. So you can take a picture that already exists, or like you can try to animate Coach K's logo, you know, take that Shiva Robotics logo and make the letters light up one by one or change color or something. She allows you to do it. That would make it very interesting. You know what? I think I'm going to do this project.
That'll be really awesome. Just like Google Doodle, I can even post it on the website with a GIF instead of having a static one. So that.
Exactly. So for that, you would have to start with one picture and then go in costumes and create a different frame for every position, for every letter, for every color, for everything. That's all we have to do.
Yeah, I can even email them and as an attachment the high resolution version of the logo, so they have like a good platform to work on.
Yes. Now I'm going to go in this project again, in this studio again, and George, if you hear me, he's going to show us how to do some artwork on the sprite to create a costume again, but actually working on the costume.
I will.
Can you? Yes. Let me stop sharing the screen. He already prepared the picture. Hopefully you'll find it faster than first time. Stop share. Okay. Can you share your screen, George?
Okay. Oh, oof. Okay, so could you repeat what you wanted me to show again? I forgot the.
Create a project. You have the villager.
Oh, right. Yeah. So I would like to demonstrate how to basically like cut out image. It is a very like for a lot of images like the Mama Gerbil project. That took forever to cut them out.
He's trying to say it can be very tedious, you know, it can be.
Yeah, very tedious. So I tried to get like the most square thing that I could. So
Villager.
where is it? Oh, no. Oh right, yeah, I saved it.
Documents, villager.
Okay. Yeah, my computer is an absolute mess.
So he looked for a picture that is somehow square to make it easier to work on it for the demonstration today. Because it can take a long time to.
Yeah, it can take a very long time. So for detail, so first of all, you'd want to just cut out like the big things, just like the ones that don't really require too much detail. So just.
Well, it would be good if you actually explain what you're doing.
Yeah, so basically first you want to cut out the big portions with the select. Like
Right, so for a second and show to them exactly how did you do it? What did you click on to start with?
well, So if you're in vector, it'll say below convert to bitmap. If it says convert to vector, don't do anything. And up here, there's this. It's like a little mouse and a square. So yeah.
You select the area that you want to cut out, the area you want to crop, the one you want to get rid of.
Yeah. Bitmap is the easiest to use, or is the easiest when it comes to cutting out. Anyway, so yeah, you need to like remove the big stuff, and then
remove, you delete, right?
more detailed.
George, a step at a time. So after you select the area you want to remove, what do? You delete, right?
Yeah, and then once you get more detailed, you want to try and like go smaller and smaller. So.
And you're using a different tool now, so show to them which tool you're using now.
Eraser, it's right next to this one. So you got like pixels to go like
for fine cut. That's for fine cut.
But since this one is square, it should be pretty easy just to do this, but yeah.
You need to zoom in the picture more and more and more to all the way to the pixel level.
Really exact. And if you're doing like a more complex picture, I recommend like cutting out little bits that don't really matter too much. That like, it won't really change the picture if it's there. Like with the gerbils in that project I decided to cut off their tails. Oh no.
The whiskers, everything.
In the scratch, it came out wrong. I decided to like erase their tails in scratch, to just cut that out. So it was easier. Plus, it wasn't really required for the gameplay element of it.
You just simplify the picture a little bit.
Yeah, so I recommend like finding anything you can to simplify. So, well, with this one, yeah, so just like if you are trying to cut out a family photo, I recommend like maybe cutting out like the legs so it's just like a torso up one. Something like that, if you want to make it easier on yourself.
And if you have round lines, it's easier to use the other tool, the eraser. And again, you can zoom in and zoom out to make it bigger or smaller.
So anyway, yeah.
But your mouse, you don't have to finish it now. You can finish it.
So you just want to like, just for the straight ones, you want to try and use the select tool. But when you're getting exact, I recommend the erase tool.
So I advise you just save this one for now and move again to the game with the gerbils, so they remember. They might not remember what you're talking about, just to show to them how a real picture looks like. You work on cutting it like that. Let's go in games and beyond there.
So yeah, Mama Gerbil.
Let's make real pictures.
A whole week just cutting out these. The cutting out was the absolute hardest part. Anyway, like you can see that like I cut off. So you can see that I like cut off the arm right there, and you can see here I cut off the like the bottom part, and then over here you can see that I cut off like most of the tails.
And most of the whiskers, I remember that. Yeah. Trying to go around the whiskers.
Yeah, so
now go inside, see inside and show them the costumes, how the costumes look like, the sprites and the costumes. Inside the code.
Yeah, I am. So you can see in the nest that I cut out most of the tails. This one was the only one I decided to leave since it kind of like continued the straight line.
Just show the costume, just show the sprite for the sprite.
And behind there. But anyway, yeah. Like I cut out the tails, so it just, yeah. And then here I like cut off the legs since it wasn't really necessary. Some whiskers I cut off, and obviously with this one I cut off the whole entire arm, but then again.
That's just because he wanted to use real pictures that we took in our home with our own gerbils and his hand. That's his hand actually.
Yeah. Well, the plot is basically you're trying to collect your babies before the hand catches you, because the mothers, well, all the gerbils absolutely hate me, to be perfectly honest.
Okay, come on, show us the project. Just play it once so they remember it.
So you basically like collect gerbils, you put them with the other gerbils, and you try and get a high score, and then if they catch you, then it's game over. So yeah.
Okay, so let's go to the project page now. I think that's what, and there are many things we can do. There are many tools that you can use to work on a picture, but if you want to create your own one, to draw it, you start from scratch. If you want to work on an existing picture, you start with what George showed you to just remove what's unnecessary, and then you take it from there. If you want to import the costumes, again, you have the option to import each of them one by one, or to find an animated GIF, but then that wouldn't be yours. You know, if you want to create your own, then you would create the costumes one by one.
Yeah.
Stop sharing the screen, George, so I can share mine.
Oh, right, sorry, I forgot.
Thank you for the help.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Okay. So this is what we have for now in create your own sprite. And maybe we'll have time in another studio to go back in creating sketch type like Stigman sprites. I thought this was very interesting because anybody can start with this and make a game. Is there any kind of animation with it? I always forget that I'm supposed to jump, and I don't remember what. How do I jump? Press space. Okay. So these are the simplest drawings you can make. You know, the Stigman. Anybody can draw a Stigman. You know, you don't have to be art school to make a Stigman. So
yeah, bad game. I didn't put like that much into the programming since
I just wanted to see how many costumes you have. For example, for the, how did you call it? The stick chin. Okay. How many costumes do we have? This is the first one, second one, third one, fourth one. Experiment to make your own costumes in a very simple way. Just make a stickman. And just make it change, you know, move legs and arms a little bit. Or make a face that just changes eyes and smile, and he frowns in one and he smiles in the other one, he laughs in the other, something like that. So that's an easy way to try to animate a sprite with several. And I think the ghost, yeah, the ghost is just simple. The ghost doesn't have costumes. So I advise you try this. I advise you try a simple drawing. So anybody has any question now about what we showed today?
No.
Nina, are you okay? You're a bit sleepy today.
I'm okay.
Right. So it wasn't the class today wasn't so exciting in terms of coding, but we just showed you more options on what you can do to get creative when you feel inspired to draw your own things and use your own pictures that you collected, your own pics collection. So these are ways in which you can use it. And because we kind of finished the first series of the course, before we go on to more important things, I'm going to move to the studios page. Let's see if I can do that to see all the studios. So we finished the ways to move, turn, and spin. We went a little bit in math and animation, and we learned how to create our own sprite. then the rest, the next studios are get a little bit more complex. But we learn the basics. So I wanted to share something with you that actually comes from the documentation of Harvard University. So
Yeah, one quick question before we move ahead. So the project which they do in Sprite, can they export it as a GIF file? Like I have like 2 pictures, I make a GIF out of it, changing costume. Can they export it as a GIF too?
yeah, so if you make your own project and you create your own costumes and you export it, it becomes an animated GIF itself. So that's a way to create your own and publish your own animated GIFs. Animated pictures can be done. So what I wanted to show you, because we went through all these elements, I didn't want to start with this because I didn't want it to sound too complicated. But now, because we went through all these concepts already before we advance the lessons, I'll read them to you and we'll discuss them a little bit. So these are the computational concepts, and we already used all of them. Sequence, loops, parallelists, events, conditionals, operators, and data. So Scratch uses all these concepts, and we have those blocks of different colors that practically serve these concepts. So as a description, a sequence is identifying a series of steps for a task. So we create something by following several steps in a task. That's a sequence. Loops are running the same sequence multiple times. We call them repeats, right? So we keep on repeating things forever, or 10 times or 5 times. So what we do, we go in a loop. That's a simple loop that we use so far, but we did create those loops to run the same sequence multiple times. Parallelism means making things happen at the same time. So things that happen in parallel. And we did that too. Like we have a bird flapping wings and flying across the screen, and then we have an insect trying to catch it, following it. So we have different sprites acting and running in the same time. So we have different programs, different codes running in parallel. And then events, one thing causing another thing to happen. Those are the events we start with to trigger what happens next. Like when we click the green flag, when we click this sprite, when we click on the space key, those are events that cause something else to happen. Conditionals are making decisions based on conditions. We didn't use this so much, but we are going to go into this more. However, an example of a condition that we used already was like, if we are on a certain background, show this sprite or hide this sprite. Right, so if one sprite shows, the other ones all disappear, they hide. Operators, support for mathematical and logical expressions. I don't think we use the operators yet. We are getting into that. We did a bit of math in terms of measuring angles and sides of different shapes. Operators would be the additions and subtractions. We'll get there pretty soon. And the data would be storing, retrieving, and updating values. What we can say here is that we did use this when we decided the position in which a sprite would appear. So we mentioned in the code that when we move to the next background, the sprite would appear with the left side of the screen in a certain position. So when the Scratch runs the program, would take that data that we store there, that we want a particular sprite to appear in a certain position that has a certain value on the X scale and the Y scale, right? So that's data that we stored and we are retrieving every time we run the project. So we already worked with all these computational concepts, and you can already understand them because you're using them in every project you create. So anything else you would like to talk about today? Next time, hopefully you'll be able to share all the projects, and we'll see them in the students project space here.
Mm-hmm. So we want to know the lesson number and the studio name, so we can they know where to find the code in that.
You're right. So we just go back in, create your own sprite. We don't go anywhere else today. And for uploading let me see, what did I tell you to do? You already uploaded a picture, and then you uploaded and you created this one here. Lesson 30 is for uploading one sprite and then go in costume and create your own costumes. Duplicate and then flip or rotate or do whatever you want to it, okay? So you upload one picture and then you duplicate it in costumes to create your own costumes. That's lesson 30.
Okay, sounds good.
And we have lesson 31 and 32, in which it shows just the way the title says, upload your photos or any other pictures as sprites. And in 32, upload your photos as costumes. So instead of having several sprites, you have one single sprite with several costumes that you don't create in this case. You just upload them one by one. So you go again in this here, in this choose a costume, and I choose upload costume, and you upload them one by one, and then you rename them in this section, and you put a name to every costume, and then you can animate them. So these are a few things that we did today.
Awesome. Yes, so I think they'll be able to do this animation, and looks like Michaela has a question. Go ahead, Michaela.
On Scratch, how did you use the when I receive message 1, broadcast message 1, broadcast message 1 wait? Like, how do you use those?
I'll show you in my studios.
I'm
In animation, I'm trying to get all studios. Let me just try. I'm rushing out. Let me just open the class again and go to all studios. We have
I want to make a storytelling animation.
You have a studio that is called Storytelling Animation, and I reserved it to do 2 or 3 lessons on this one. See, so in Storytelling Animation, Studio 10 Storytelling Animation, you click on the lesson, and this is entirely done as broadcasting messages, and this was very laborious and it took a long time to make, just because there are many backdrops and many sprites that talk to each other by broadcasting messages to each other, which become conditionals. So when you receive this message, you do this thing. When you receive another message, you do this thing. You know what I mean? So we have a series of sprites here, and we also have a series of backdrops here that keep changing. So if you want to just study on your own, just look at this project and you'll see how many things are done. But we'll go back there after we study the loops a little bit more and how the conditionals work. I didn't want to rush because I want everybody to understand what we're doing. But this is where the lesson is with the broadcast. Lesson 22 in storytelling animation. Right here.
So is our homework to make like a sprite or something? To like get a picture and try and cut it out and like sort of make a sprite?
I think it's quite difficult to do the cutting out unless you really want to try. So I wouldn't make that a homework. That one, just if you feel challenged to start cutting out pictures, try it. As a homework, as we said at the beginning, you already uploaded a picture. So you need to have a picture from the internet or from your own computer and upload it in Sprite, in a Scratch as a sprite, and then create your own costumes to that picture. And then if you want an additional homework, you can create a pictures gallery or a costumes gallery, something with your own photos or several pictures in different ways. So show that you understood how different ways work, like to import pictures as sprites, to import pictures as costumes, or to create your own costumes and create a gallery or create an animation, animate it in any way you want. But we start from the very first project we did today, in which we already uploaded one picture and we created 2 costumes to it by flipping the picture. So that would be the simple homework.
So we have to like get multiple pictures, sort of.
Multiple pictures or one single picture that you multiply by creating different costumes to it. And then animate it in a simple way. Just a simple animation that shows how you can use your own sprites.
Yes. And I can send them the logo too. I'll send you all the Shiva logo. If you want, you can. That is easy to cut, right? So you can do animation. You can turn the gears or move the antenna or make the letters appear one by one. Get creative. So we can just upload it in the website. Okay, so that'll be nice. So right now, Adina, we are at the end of the school year. So most of them are starting summer break. So right before you joined the call, I asked them if they want to continue learning animation. Most of them are interested in continuing the course in the month of June. So how is your availability? You think like all through June, you'll be able to conduct the Saturday lessons?
I think so. I'm not traveling anywhere, not in June. We are waiting for July to see how things looks like. But in June, we don't travel anywhere. In the weekdays, we have camps because George will be in some virtual camps. But Saturday morning is still free. Or we also have some afternoons free after 4. After 4. So the camps are 1 to 5, actually after 5. I also have some afternoons after 5.
Okay.
If that looks better than Saturday morning.
Oh, is it? Okay. Okay, so if anything comes up in the morning, we can definitely have that after 5 as a secondary option. Is that okay?
So Saturday morning can work, but not in the other days because we have virtual camps.
Got it.
Saturday morning works,
Yes.
or in any day of the week after 5 o'clock. Now, for me, after 5 o'clock is better for me. But it might be too late for the kids depending on what schedule they have with the family or, whatever schedule and things like that. So.
Definitely, we will continue the same course in June. And then so that way they can really get into gaming and explore really good. And we are even starting like EV3 courses, hands-on EV3. They purchase the kit, we ship the kit, and then they can do it. So we'll be opening all those up before the summer break. Yes.
All
So
right.
any other questions you have, kids? No? No questions as of now? If you're interested, you can see some of the demo of the 3D designing we were learning. Adina, do you have anything else to share, or this last 10 minutes we can?
No, I can stop sharing to let you share.
Okay. So Karthik, do you want to open Tinkercad and show some of the 3D designing that we did so far?
Okay.
You have just 10 minutes, okay? So show all the designs that we did: trophy, fidget spinner, and what else? Minion.
Oh,
So
all those techniques.
I just want you all to take a look at this because summer holidays, you don't have the school work. So if you want to do more than one online course, you can go ahead, and we will be opening up these courses on weekday evenings too.
So we made this keychain for our first tutorial. So you can edit like your name and stuff in it. And then we also made let me just.
Wait, did you switch courses or?
No, I'm doing both.
Oh.
It's showing what they did in that 3D animation, George.
Oh, okay. I was wondering, like, did they start the?
Okay.
Did it go to the?
And then we made a teacup.
So the best part is all these models can be 3D printed. So we had one kid 3D print a cup and actually use it. So all these can be 3D printed at Shiva.
So we made this teacup that you could probably actually use if you 3D print it out. And then we also made a minion. And then
I looked at that tutorial.
and fidget spinner.
Oh, stale means.
And the best part is, Adina, this has kind of like a scratch programming too, and that's helping a lot. All that you're teaching, it's helping the students for that course too. Like Nina, she's doing both, but she's able to understand that better just because of scratch programming.
And then this is a fidget spinner. And this is our trophy.
And open the lampshade, please.
Oh. Oop. I think it's this one.
So all scratch programming that you're learning, it'll help you a lot with 3D designing. This is exactly like scratch programming. And when you run the code, it does the 3D designing step by step. So let's play this and see how it's designing it. So it's all like every block of coding, it creates one shape at a time, and then it assembles it all together. So everything that you learn in Scratch, it'll be very helpful. So this is a lampshade.
That's it.
Mhm.
That's it. That's the lampshade.
Interesting. I saw the minions. So it came in the history on YouTube after I watched one of our lessons, and I was a minion. That was interesting.
It's becoming like a cross-platform learning. One is helping the other.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, and thank you for everybody to continue learning it in June. So I feel so happy that it'll make you all stronger, right? Stronger.
Location. I hope the online school worked for you. I liked it. We enjoyed the online schooling.
Yes.
Okay.
At the end of June, we will issue the certificate, and we'll have the first set of online graduates, right? Gamers, online gamers. So thank you so much. And I'll send a video. And I have a quick question. Last week, I made you as the host, so I did not get the recording. Usually, the video recording, it downloads on the local computer of the host. By any chance, did George or Edina, did you get a link saying the video recording of the class is available?
I didn't, but I'm sure you recorded it. I mean, did you make it recorded?
I did record, but the moment I made you as the host, I lost the record.
You are sure it continued to record once you made me the host? Because I didn't touch the recording. I didn't do anything to it.
Oh.
Are you sure it continues once you change the host, continues to record?
I don't know. I didn't.
We don't know that.
That's why we don't have the recording from last year.
Yeah.
Today's recording, I have it available. So I'll upload it and send you the link. And make sure you complete your homeworks, okay? So that will help you to be on track.
Yes, I'm sorry. I wish I knew that I had to keep an eye on it. But I didn't receive.
Pardon?
I did not receive any link at the end. I'm sorry, I didn't know about it. I would have kept an eye on the recording, but I didn't.
No worries. For this class, I changed the setting. And from next class onwards, we will have it live on YouTube too. So at this, simultaneously when you're talking, it will be live streaming on YouTube as well. Okay. Yeah. Test run and it works great.
Okay.
In all your sessions, I want you to know that there are some students who are not in the class, but they are following the video recording and they are learning as well. So thank you so much for doing it.
Okay. Have a nice weekend. Bye-bye.
Goodbye.
Bye.
George, that was a great presentation.
I just say,
Bye. Thank you.
I just saw there's a chat here and somebody was posting in the chat and we didn't notice. So I'm sorry, we should keep an eye on the chat as well. Some people are writing here they couldn't upload pictures and.
But you did cover it. You did explain it to her.
I did, but I didn't keep the chat when I talk. I didn't keep the chat open, and I only noticed it now the messages. So if you ping me next time, if you try to write to me and you tell me, I'm going to look in the chat to see what the questions are.
Okay? Okay, take care. Goodbye.
Thank you so much.
Bye.